you will be asked to do perform function operations. So in this one, we have f of x equals 6x minus 4x squared minus 7x cubed, and g of x equals 9x squared minus 5x. You're asked to calculate f plus g of x. So this is always just going to be f plus g of x is the same thing as f of x plus g of x. So that is the same thing as so please do not make the mistake of multiplying these. You add them together. So the way you do that is you just get, let's see, how many, you just go term by term, degree by degree. So the highest degree is 3. So negative 7x cubed. So that's the only term of degree 3. So that ends up here at the front, negative 7. 2, there's negative 4x squared, and there's 9x squared. So 9x squared minus plus a negative 4x squared is the same thing as 5x squared. Okay, we're done with those. And then all that's left is 6x and negative 5x. So 6x minus 5x is just x. Let's say we want to evaluate f plus g of negative 2. So this tests your ability to properly evaluate negative squares and cubes of negative numbers. So f plus g, negative 7 times negative 2 cubed, negative 2, okay, so it's negative 7 times negative 2 cubed is negative 8. So negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. And then negative 2 squared, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. And then negative 2 is just negative 2. And then minus 2. And then when you finish everything, 56 plus 20 is 76, minus 2 is 74. Here we're asked to simplify an expression with radicals in there. The point of this is just to simplify the radicals until you can get some like radicals. So the procedure for this is just to go inside the square root and try and find perfect squares. So that's what's going on here. Turns out 12 is equal to 3 times 4. 4 is 2 squared. So that means that it can be rewritten as square root of 3 times 2 squared. Then you can factor out the 2. 125 can be rewritten as 5 times 5 times 5. So the perfect square in there is 5 squared, or 25. So then you factor that out. And then 48 can be rewritten as 4 times 4 times 3. So the perfect square there is 4. 48 is the same thing as 3 times 4 squared. So you can factor out 4 from that. So when you're finished factoring out the perfect squares, you end up with so then you end up with 8 times 2, root 3, and then minus 10 times 5, root 5, and then plus 7 times 4, root 3. So then you notice that there's a like radical, root 3. So it's going to end up being 16 root 3 plus 28 root 3 minus 50 root 5. You will need to do a problem like this where you're given a function, f of x equals 4x squared minus 3. It won't be this same function, but you'll be asked to find the inverse. This is the notation for inverse. So yeah, just follow the procedure. First thing is to say that this is the same thing as y equals 4x squared minus 3. Next thing is to switch x and y. So, and then the next thing after that will be to solve for y. So first thing, add 3, so x plus 3, divide by 4. Last thing is to take the square root of both sides. So this just ends up being square root of x plus 3 over 4, and then square root of y squared is just y. And then this, and square root of 4 is 2. But there'll be more ones where you just have to deal with exponents. So this one from the warm-up is 180 times x to the 5th. So we can simplify this by just finding all the perfect squares inside of the square root. 18 divided by 2 is 9, and 9 is a perfect square. So if you factor out 9, then it's 9 times 20. So 9 is a perfect square. Perfect square that goes inside of 20 is 4. 20 is 4 times 5. So now we have two perfect squares. So 9, 4, and 5 are factors of 180. 180 is the same thing as 9 times 4 times 5. Now let's find the factors of x to the 5th. So we can just say that x squared times x squared goes under the square root sign, and then x is by itself. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 4 is 2. And then we just leave 5 under the square root sign. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of x squared again is x. And then this root x, we just leave it the way it is. So now we've got 6 root 5, and then x times x is x squared, and then root x. So this simplifies to 6x squared times root 5 times x.